Hi everyone, I'm Ruchika Bindra, host and journalist. Growing up, I always searched for faces like mine for inspiration. While there were some phenomenal desi women doing some amazing things, their stories weren't at the forefront. I needed to see more of us being celebrated and represented in all facets of life. From a global influencer to a fashion stylist, I bring you some of the most inspiring desi women nationally and internationally. Welcome to Tell Me More with Ru. Ever wondered what it's like to be an actress? How hard is it to get an audition? My guest this week is a Canadian actress and a successful social media influencer. She was in Deepa Mehta's movie Anatomy of Violence and Drcabbie. Here to talk about what it's like behind all the glitz and glamour, how much hard work it really takes, this week's inspiring Desi babe is Tia Bhatia. Hi Tia, welcome to Tell Me More with Ru. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Like literally before, as we were talking, stressing about sending an audition, but everything is fine.
We'll get into that right now. Thanks for coming on. You've had a great journey. And what I love about you and why I wanted you to come on is there's an aspect of you that's really real. You don't have
Yeah.
pretense around you. And I think that's what really connects with people that follow you. So let's
Yeah.
get into kind of who Tia is, what she's done. Everyone knows you as kind of, okay, Nav Bhatia's daughter, but I think it's important for you that you're building your own space.
Yeah, that's like very important. Like a lot of people, I'm very proud to be known as daughter. That's the number one thing for me. A lot of people think they can use it as a downfall sometimes, be like, oh, you're only known as daughter. It's a very proud thing for me. I would love to be known as his daughter for the rest of my life, and I hope I am. But I also know that I have to make a name for myself, and I have a benchmark that I need to, either hit or surpass. So I have these goals and stuff in my mind, and just to make him proud and make myself proud that I'm able to do things myself, as well as carry on his name.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
you're doing great. I have to say, very proud to see the things you're doing. So, we have this lovely South Asian girl. She's in Toronto, Canada. Your adoption story went viral because I think it touched a real part of you that a lot of people in the South Asian community don't talk about, right? Adoption is very
Yeah.
it's almost like that space where it's like, oh, really? But you don't talk about it. And then
Yeah.
with it. What was that like for you?
I'm going to go a little bit backwards on this. There's a really funny thing that happened was that my dad never told his close friends, or even my mom didn't tell her close friends that I was adopted. Only people who knew my dad during like the year of 1991 knew that I was adopted.
Yeah.
But a lot of people didn't know. And one day, Dad and I did an interview with PTC, and she's like, "Can we bring up adoption?" Because she's like, "I know that your daughter's been adopted, right?" Because my dad had a whole conversation with her before, and Dad's like, "Okay, let's do it." That was the first time he was vocal about my adoption. First time it was out there. And I heard my dad say in the interview, he's like, "Yes, she's not my biological daughter." And I'm like controlling my tears like so much. And I'm like, oh my God, like he said it. And I was like, you know what? I think in my mind, adoption is such a beautiful thing. And I decided that why not come out with my story? It could help others. And I've been always hearing about female infanticide and all of that that's happening, especially in India. So I decided just to come on YouTube, ask my parents for permission. And I was like, I would love to share my story. It's my journey. It's my story. If it can help someone, it can help. I had no idea what it would do. Like I had no idea. I remember at that time I was like, oh, I would get like videos that had like 5,000 views or 6,000 or even 1,000. I'm like, yay, I'm happy. I remember I uploaded it the same day, the first day it hit 20,000. Then it started going up and up and up. And then all the comments were going like crazy. And I'm, oh my goodness. Like, oh my goodness.
There was a realness, TN people probably had an expectation of you to be a certain way, and now they're getting to really see who you are, a part of your life, and embraced it, right? And that resonates with people. And social media following, I think, has grown because of that. So do you have a strategy when you build it? Because a lot of girls that follow you, they kind of want to build that space online. They want to build that world for themselves. What is the advice you give them?
I think the biggest advice is if you want to build that space for yourself on social media, the number one thing is just remember not everyone's going to like you. That's like the biggest thing. A lot of you have people who come out with a lot of negativity, a lot of hate, and you have to be ready for it. You have to be prepared. They're going to attack your looks. You have to be prepared. They're going to attack the way you speak. And then you have to be prepared. They're going to attack your family if you are like giving out personal information. That's the biggest thing. You have to be mentally prepared and so secure that you're like, this doesn't phase me.
Was it hard for you at the start? Because, you know, you're posting something and sometimes the trolls are there and it's negative and it's like, oh my God, like how do you get out of that dark space then?
Yeah, at the start, it wasn't as much until like I started bringing like my dad into my videos a little bit more, and then people be like, oh, like they would use like Punjabi people. It's so sad when you get it from like your own people as well. It's like a lot of hate within our own communities. I don't know why.
Yep.
Yeah. And they'll be like, oh, like rich daddy's daughter and stuff. And like that stuff used to get me until one day, like I kind of like flipped a switch. This was like maybe 3 years ago. I was like, you know what? Like, yeah, my dad worked hard. Thank you very much. Call me whatever you want to call me. I'm enjoying my life. There's nothing I can do to help you, but if there's something I can do to help you, I will. That's it. Like, that's all. That's how I had to take it, because it was just getting so crazy, so ridiculous. And like the hate was real and it was getting to me. And I was like, you know what? Rather than accepting defeat, why don't you accept the hate? So I just accepted it. And then once I accepted who I am and where I come from, everything changed for me. Now I just don't care. Now I laugh at these comments. I'll get a comment and I laugh.
I think that's so important that you said that. You just need to accept it and you just need to do it for you, because at the end of the day, it's never going to stop. You could look a certain way, you could be a certain way, you could have been someone else.
Yeah.
People will find something. So I think that's
yeah.
And what about acting? You've had a really interesting journey, which I wanted to touch in on, because a lot of people know you right now in the last few years as, you know, this person on social media and kind of this influencer. But a lot of people don't know about the struggles about acting. They don't know what it's like, right? And you've done the Metha's movie, so you have done, you know, work that is globally published and renowned. But that struggle, we were talking about that. It's not easy. You know, you get 100 auditions. It doesn't mean you're getting 100 roles. So why don't you open up a little bit about that? Because there's a lot of girls that I'm sure would want to know, what's that path like if they want to get into acting? How hard is it?
So one of the biggest things is, I remember this just happened recently. We had a girl from Mississauga who landed Mindy Kaling's Netflix show thing. And so her name's Maitri, and she is phenomenal. And I remember someone commented on, I posted on my Instagram story, yay, fellow Canadian got so-and-so, because I support people. I'm not that type of person. I don't have any negativity. And someone responded, wow, see the girl from Mississauga who didn't even like do any really auditions or anything like that, and got the role, and you've been at it for years. And I'm like, you're saying it like I'm gonna take offense to it. I'm like, that's not something I take offense, because it just tells me that you don't understand how auditions are. Because again, like we were talking about, people think that, you're getting 100 auditions, you're probably going for those roles and all of that, but that's not true. The thing is, you could go for 500 auditions and land only one thing.
Yep, absolutely.
And so many people in this industry. And the thing is, we always have to remember, you can be a wonderful and amazing actor. You can be a trained actor. But if you're not what they're looking for, because when they're writing their script and everything, they have something in mind. If you're not what they're looking for, they're not going to cast you, you know? And this whole thing, I remember I've had a couple of like, you know, auntia who are just like, oh, like, what's she filming now? Mom's like, she's not filming anything. Like, I've only done like 4 or 5 things in my life when it comes to filming and acting. It's because it's a very hard industry. The thing is, a lot of people who don't end up, you know, pursuing it even further is because they decided, all right, maybe acting isn't for me. I'm going to go into something else. I'm not that person. I believe no matter what, I'll be doing things to support myself, but acting is what I want to do. And even I believe like stories like Morgan Freeman, like he didn't book a role till he was 52. I'm totally a wholehearted believer that you just got to keep going. And so when you hear like Auntie and them and say like, oh, like she's not shooting anything, but like, it's not that easy. You don't just walk into a room and be like, hey, I'm here, give me the audition. Or they think that because I'm now Bhatia's daughter, I'm going to get the audition. It doesn't work that way. If you don't fit the role, you don't fit the role. They find someone else, find someone else. And on top of that, being in Canada, let's say I shoot for something in America, they literally have to be like, is she really that good that we would want to pay for her O1 visa or do that and get her working into America? Like there's a lot of things that come into play.
A lot of technicalities people don't know.
Yeah. People don't understand it. People just are and they're also in the mindset that acting is so easy. Just put a camera on and read lines. It's not that, you know that. So yeah.
It's so much harder. And the one thing I have to say I've learned is I used to be the first person who's like, oh my God, that actress, terrible actress. Oh, this actress can't act. Because it's so easy when you're sitting on the couch to judge people. And now, honestly, it's so hard to remember 10 lines. Like, kudos to this person. They did it. At the end of the day, unless you're trying, you don't know how hard it is. What about going to Bollywood? Have you ever thought about that idea? Has it come to you to say, I'm gonna go to India? Maybe I'll do full-time there with the talent agency. Let me explore my options. Maybe dad can reach out. Like, did people push you in that way? Because that would seem like the way I would be like, try.
Yeah, so my dad actually, was very involved with the Bollywood industry. He still is, but more heavily involved in the 1990s when he used to do Bollywood shows here in Toronto and all of that. And that got me into the whole world of acting. And I loved the whole concept of acting. And I remember I used to tell my dad, I want to go into Bollywood. My dad's like, pick another career. That was when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really, really want to go into this industry. Dad's like, wait, do you want to go into industry or do you want to go into acting? What is it? And I'm like, actually, I want to go into acting. It's not really necessarily Bollywood for me. And so I decided I want to be the brown girl who will also break into mainstream cinema, all of that. And Bollywood has its other side, you know, so wanted to definitely just kind of stay away from that. But even I thought about it once, like maybe I can go with my dad's connect, do something with Bollywood and all. But then I was like, you know what? My main thing is this. I grew up like this. I want to put in my hard work. I want to earn it myself. I don't want to have to get it because of my dad. Like I know in my head, I say when I make it in Hollywood, I will end up being somewhere in Bollywood. Like someone will be like, hey, like, let's just put you in one film. I just want to do one Bollywood film in my life. That's it. But I'm so focused on mainstream cinema because that's what I love. I love the concept of Hollywood. I like being in a union. I like the safety. I like the versatility. I like how they don't look at specific things. They look at like mainly acting and then they put everything together. And that's what I like about them, you know? So I wasn't necessarily like, oh, I really want to go into Bollywood. It was just, thank you. It was an anchor that got me into acting, but didn't really care as much.
And I love that you're so proud of the fact that you're Canadian. And I love that idea. You will get that call. Hollywood, it's not that hard to, then say, okay, I'm going to explore other acting fraternities and be in Bollywood, right? Like there's so many other great ones, but I mean, because we're linked it to being Bollywood, at least something to think about, right? Like I think a lot of young girls don't think of that idea. It's like, oh, I want to be an actress, I want to be in Bollywood. But I like that you're like, what about here? What about creating more of us on camera? Because growing up, you watch American TV, Canadian TV, people like you and me, we weren't on, right? Like you didn't see these characters as much. So I think that's equally as important.
Yeah, I actually met this girl. She was an actress on Degrassi, and now her and I have become good friends, and we're going to be working on something together. And it was just amazing because her name is Mindy Shankar, and she was the first brown girl that I saw on mainstream cinema. I mean, you're on Degrassi, like Nina Dobrev and all these other people were on it, and she was on it for years. And then she got her own other show based on like an Indian girl, and it's very similar to Never Have I Ever almost. And so I forgot the show's name right now, but I grew up and I saw a brown girl on TV. She was the first brown girl I saw on TV. Then after Mindy Kaling, I saw Mindy Kaling later on. And then I'm like, shoot, we're actually kind of breaking. So I was like, I want to do things where we have more of us in the industry, because I'm so tired of the whole, like it's amazing that there's diversity and all of that, but I'm tired of the word diverse. We should be treated as normal human beings, like we don't have to be like, we're diverse, that's why, it should be like, no, this is our work, this is our art. You see our color, cool, but we're still human beings. That's what and a lot of people have had to go into the industry and kind of make their own name. Like when I think of people from different backgrounds, if we look at like Black people, they decided, hey, let's make a show called Blackish. Let's do this, let's do that. Or if you look at Latinas and you look at like other shows, and even if you look at Jane the Virgin, how they promote their culture and stuff like that, I started realizing we need Indian people to do that. And that's where Mindy Kaling came in and did Never Have I Ever, right?
So good. Yeah.
That's the thing. If we're not getting what we want, why not create it for ourselves?
And I love that idea. I love the idea of we need to see us, especially for girls younger than us, girls that are come after us. It needs to be normal, like you said. We can't have it like that one girl, oh yay, you signed that brown, that brown girl on TV. It needs to be normal. We need to culture as normalized on mainstream television. So it's amazing that you're standing for this and you're promoting it. I love that idea.
And I don't want us to be typecasted. Like, I mean, I love it. I enjoy it. Like, I love watching Kunal Nair on Big Bang Theory and everything. I love it. But I'm just like, I would also like to see us in normal roles. So it was amazing when Priyanka Chopra came into Quantico and like, she didn't have like that heavy of an accent and she came from so-and-so background, whatever. Cool. Amazing. And even if you look at Maitri, like she normal girl, normal brown girl. And that's what I like, I constantly typecasted over and over again. Like sometimes, like I did an audition today, I'm just gonna say it, and they're like, we want a Southeast Asian accent. And my bhabhi, who is from India, and she just moved here 2 years ago, she's like, what's a Southeast Indian accent? I'm like,
I don't even know.
I don't know, but let's just go with it. Like I'm gonna do whatever I can. That's it. I was so confused. So confused.
Those are the kinds of things that I hope by the time our generation has done its work, those changes happen. Because I totally, when I get those scripts, brown girl, sweet, but with accent, like sometimes I have a really thick accent when I'm watching a Bollywood film because I just adapt where I am. If I'm around Italians, my accent's now Italian. Like that's just who I am.
Yeah.
But like, it's so weird when you get that email, right? Like Indian accent or brown girl accent. Like, what are you saying?
I don't know if you've seen it, but oh my God, what is that other brown comedian I'm having? Aziz Ansari.
Yeah.
So where it's like he goes into the audition. They're like, "Can you be more Indian?" He's like, "Huh?" They're like, "Can you like bob your head a little bit?" And he's like, "Huh?" Don't talk like that. Even in India, like the Indian accent. When you hear people, there's a British touch to it. Yeah. We not talk like we are talking like this here. We don't do that. We have our like Mumbai slang. We have our Delhi slang. Like there's a level in the way we talk.
I actually remember because I'm from Mumbai, right? So I go every year. Yeah. When I come back, people are like, oh, so you're from Bandra, so you're from the film city. How come you don't have an accent? I said, well, nobody there has an accent, first of all.
Yeah.
And we talk normally. Like my mom and dad learned English first. Like their first language is English. Because in Bombay, you learn English due to the British rule, right? Like we don't bob our heads. And there are people that have a little bit of a deeper accent because that's just the way they speak. But the fact that we're typecasted in an audition with brown girl, thick accent, it's like.
Yeah. Like I am not going to be going into an interview and talking like this now. Like I'm not going to be doing that, right?
Why not? Come on, talk like that, Tia. Come on now.
It's just so funny. I enjoy it when I'm doing it, but then at the same when I pull myself out and I watch myself, I'm like, this is not being woke. And sadly, we're not in a position where we can be picky and choosy with our roles.
Yep.
Sadly, we want to make it.
Yeah.
We want to be there, and like you just whatever role you're getting, you just got to keep going for it.
Yep.
And I remember even Cal Penn released on Twitter. He goes, "Let me show you guys some of my old auditions." So he released some of the auditions that he did, and it'd be like Pandit with an accent, so-and-so with an accent, this and this with an accent. And now, like, this is when he was on Designated Survivor. He goes, look, like, I'm on Designated Survivor. I don't have an accent. Yeah. I could talk about this for like a long time with you.
Tia, do you want to give a little bit of genuine advice of you're doing an audition? Because I really wanted people to hear from people that are in the space of doing auditions and trying to act. Now it's all about self-tapes. And I tell you how much I do not like self-tapes because I'm like, listen, I like to go in, I like to feel the director, I like to feel the casting director. Yeah. I like my lights to be set for me. I don't need to figure out what it is. How are you finding self-taping, and what are some tips you can give, young girls that have just joined maybe with a talent agent and they're getting deals for self-tapes all the time and they don't know how to start?
Usually like self tapes, I'll go into like an acting school, I'll book a self tape for 1 hour and then I'll shoot it with the teacher and the lights are all set. But right now with the situation, especially of what's going on, can't really do that, right? So we have been doing like Zoom auditions, or you do like the self tapes at home. The hard part is always for me is finding someone to do the audition with me, because everyone in my family is always busy. So finding a friend,
Do you read? Yeah.
yeah, like my reader. But lighting wise, like I think the reason I don't stress that much when it comes to lighting and filming itself is because I come from that YouTube background. So I have a setup at home, and I get it. Like for other people who don't have a setup, getting a ring light, getting a proper camera like that, you need to get, like, if you don't have a proper camera, then, you need a stand for your phone, like things like have to invest in it because you're investing in yourself. So that stuff, it gets a little bit like hectic. But then what makes it worse is when you have to edit on your own and send it in, and then you'll come across technical difficulties, which I did today. So that kind of stuff, you just have to be mentally prepared that sometimes shit is going to go wrong. But the biggest thing I can say is invest in yourself. Buy a ring light, get a camera stand for your phone, and just make sure that there's someone at home that can read for you. And if not, have a backup of any friends or anyone that can come down. That's all. That's the only advice I can give. And the other thing about self tape is, one, look at it as a benefit. You get to do so many do-overs. Yeah. But I know time that's also not a positive, because you're going to be even more harder on yourself.
Yeah.
And I get that there's a bounce on it, but I like going into casting, but I also like doing self tapes because I can get the reader to do what I want them to do, rather than the reader just reading da, 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 and like I can actually get them to amp it up a little bit for me, so I can bounce back off of them, action. Yeah. So you have to, there's positive, negatives, everything. There's negatives of walking into a casting and seeing so many people inside, and then you literally freeze. So you have to just look at it. This is my work. I'm going to do what I can. This is the best that I want to, this is my work that I want to put out. It's the best that I put out today, and that's it, and send it in. But biggest thing is ring light and camera stand.
Nice. And are you hard on yourself body image wise? Because I know you've talked a lot online on your weight journey, right? And I remember I've always been hard on myself. Gained 20 pounds, lost 20 pounds. Audition, I didn't get it probably because I look bigger than the other girls that auditioned, right? So that played a part for you? Because I know you've spoken about your journey and how you've learned to love your body, and is a process. Has it impacted your confidence when you're doing auditions and self-tapes?
So in the beginning, yes, I was on the heavier side, and I loved myself. And I remember there was a teacher who said to me one time that, like, you should work out. You look better petite. And I was like, why would you say that? Like, and that took a mental toll on me. So I used to be like, going into auditions, I used to be like, oh, they probably didn't like me because of my weight. They probably didn't like me because of my looks, or so-and-so, and everything. Like, I made an issue on everything. And then I kind of overcame it. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like, I am who I am. I will only change for myself. And if I change, I'm changing for the better. I'm not changing because I have to conform to what society wants. I'm going to do it for me. I like being fit. I like eating healthy. That's just who I am. Right. And I decided, I think it was like 2 years after, that's when it hit me that I'm going to change. I'm going to make a lifestyle change. I did not care for those 2 years. I'm like, screw you for telling me that. If I book an audition because of my weight, I might just book an audition because of my weight, pretty much. They might be like, yeah, we want the heavier one. Yeah. Right. Fair enough. One, or we want the petite one, or we want the short one, or we want a tall one. Sadly, this is an industry where all of that plays a factor. And eventually, like, I just went on the weight loss journey for myself to just better my health, because I was also dealing with health issues at the time. Right. And the perk of it, like, kind of like an added benefit, was that I started, like, my body started shrinking and everything, but I'm not unhealthy. Like, I feel so healthy. I've taken my proteins. I've taken everything that I'm supposed to take. I don't go to dinner and be like, let me order a salad. No, like, I order a proper meal. I'll have like my fish or anything. Like, I'll make sure my protein, my eggs, everything is there. But I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, I have to eat a salad. Oh, I have to eat this because I have to stay tiny. I don't care about stuff like that. You walk in, and if I fit the role, I'll fit the role. And if I gain weight and I fit the role, I gain weight and I fit the role. That's it. But it took time to become comfortable at that point, because having a teacher say it to you was really, really harsh, really harsh. Constantly thinking that I'm not getting roles because I'm ugly. Like, that was really bad.
I remember
Yeah.
I did Miss India Canada like years ago in 2013, and I was
Okay.
I was huge, right? So I was the biggest girl, big in terms of weight for a pageant, and my entire like friends and stuff were like, "Oh, you'll do it. You know, it's good experience." But you know, you could feel people were like, "She got in, like she's gonna be on it." And I remember when I won Miss Photogenic, I was thrilled. I was like, "Look, I want to go into media. That's all I need. That you think I'm good for camera. Like, I don't even
Yeah.
win Miss India. I just want what I need." But I remember coming down and people were like, if you were a little thinner, you could have actually like maybe won in the top 5. And I remember driving home and I was like, and it gets it's fine. It's one or two friends or, you know, like random
Yeah.
aunties or whatever that'll sit at you, but it goes into your mind and you're like, oh my God, is this idea of being a certain body image changing what I'm getting, right? So I think it's important that you spoke about that because a lot of young girls that want to get into acting, you know, when I hear their stories, I go to weddings and they're talking, they have a complex. They don't think they look the way, you know, they should look or their idea of what they think is perfect.
Yeah, you know, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. That's just super heartbreaking. And like even for any girl that goes through it, it's heartbreaking. We're so hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
Eventually, oh, hopefully you're at this point. Like I'm at this point right now where I'll look at girls who have stunning bodies and I'm like, damn, you're hot. That's it. And I have activity, nothing. It's like all girl love. And me changing my body again had nothing to do with trying to conform to society. It was just kind of just happened when I started just becoming healthier and changing my lifestyle choices. Everyone can like choose the way they want to be. And I don't think anyone should put an input on how they should be,
100%,
you know?
100%. Tia, you gave so much great advice. I love this. I love if we were to have a genuine conversation for people. Really quickly before you go, I have 4 or 5 fun questions for you. Okay, I'm going to light it day after your hectic filming audition day. Okay. Okay.
Ready.
Tia's pinch me moment so far in her career. It could be an audition you bagged, a role, someone you met, just a moment that you came home and you're like, I feel good right now. That's a pinch me moment.
Doing an audition for Warner Brothers Studio.
Very cool.
Yeah. Go in that studio and do the audition there and have a lot of like big time people in that audition. Yeah.
Very cool. If you could choose chai or coffee in the morning, which one?
Cha. Like I am desi. That's it. I don't get this whole coffee concept. I get the cha lattes and stuff. And also speaking of cha, I got to quickly say this. People really got to stop saying chai tea. Every time I hear it, I'm like, you were just saying, stop it.
It's the same word, guys. It's chai. It's chai. There's no tea. Like, that's also my issue with turmeric lattes at Starbucks. Like, guys, I have a masala box at home. Why?
You charge so much. Okay, anyways, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, okay, but you know what I mean? Okay, so you like chai. Perfect. If you could be in a role with one other co-star, who would it be? Male or female? One role that you're like, you know what? If I could just share screen space with him or her.
I want to be part of, like, if I could have taken Scarlett Johansson's role, so I could have shared space with, you know, Chris Hemsworth. I could share space with like, Chris Evans, everyone, you know, that's what I want. I want to be part of the Marvel universe, and I would have wanted her role as Black Widow.
100%. I loved her role. I see you in Marvel. I think you can do it. Let's get you there.
Yep. Iron Man as a woman. That's fine. Well, Iron Woman.
Iron Woman totally can be done. I don't think there's an issue. And last for you, the song you listen to when you need to hype yourself up.
Okay, the song I listen to when I need to hype myself up. I don't have a typical like specific song, but okay, this is so funny. It's all either Jonas Brothers or One Direction. Like all the fun-loving songs, like you know that you're beautiful, blah blah blah. Like I just like anything that just makes me feel happy. Pretty much, I'll put that on. And Jonas Brothers, their new music has all made me feel so happy. There was human and I'm addicted to it. I hear it and I start going, all right, mood's changing. Cool.
Jonas Brothers, 100%.
I am a child at heart. That is what it is.
Amazing. Child at heart, living her dreams, trying her best. And I love it. I love that you're not, you know, using this idea and this pressure of who you are. You're actually using it as something to be proud of, but you're about to make your own path. And that's why I'm having you on. I'm so happy we got to have this chat for people. So thank you so much, Tia, and take care.
I appreciate it. Bye, guys.